Great start today. I thought the energy level was excellent, and there's no doubt we've got a team that's really anxious to get back to work, and I thought it looked like that today. Questions?
The initial impressions from, I know, no pads, all that other stuff, but anything jump out that you fresh in your mind?
Yeah, I think the energy level was good. I think the freshmen are probably a little bit ahead of where freshmen in the past have been. I think that's just by virtue of the rule change and the ability for us to meet with them in the summer. And so I think from that perspective, those guys like Robert Martin and Josh Hicks were able to go out there and maybe do a little bit more than some of the freshmen have been in the past.
And nice to see like Martin, who obviously with the ACL and everything, just be able to go through things.
Sure, and I think it's going to be really important that he's in tune with his body this training camp, because he's going to have a workload this training camp be different than anything he's done in a long time. But I certainly didn't see any lingering effects today. He looked good running around.
Kyle, what did you see, I guess, probably going back to spring with Patton to make him a first-team and summer workouts to make him a first-team receiver? And is that also partly, is Peel just more comfortable as like a slot receiver?
I don't know. I think, sometimes when it comes to those things, I look at them as, Ruhan didn't finish the spring. Andre did. They both played last year. I don't know if one played any more than the other. I don't concern myself with it as much because there's a lot of times they're going to be out on the field together, and certainly we're probably more likely to put Peel in the slot than Andre, but Peel can play outside, and formationally Andre will be inside at times. I think we've got a good group of receivers. I'd like to have more of them, but I do like the ones we have.
What did you see out of the quarterbacks today, particularly Gary?
I thought they did a good job of operating. The throws I'll look at on film, and we'll see how that was. I didn't stay with them the entire time, but I thought the operation in and out of the huddle for day one was pretty good.
Was it comforting to have the offense intact?
I think Ralph likes it. I think Ralph certainly likes it, and now we'll see kind of the evolution of it as we go.
Do things go? Do you notice that they go a little smoothly because you have more the veterans back?
Oh, there's no doubt. You put guys like Paul James, Tyler Croft, and Leonte Crew all out there together, and it certainly looks prettier.
What are you looking for from guys like PJ or Chris Muller that are coming back after missing a lot of spring?
I'm just looking for them to work, just to get a little bit better each day, and to take every drill and try to be 1-0, and take every rep and try to be 1-0. I don't think for them it's any different than anybody else on the team. I think that's the attitude I felt like the team took today, and now they got to watch it on film. And we had a couple guys cramp today, and what I said to them is you got to think about everything you did to get your body ready for practice, and then tomorrow you got to do it better, so that doesn't happen.
How about last year's freshmen? You talked about this year's freshmen, but just what you see from those guys who's going to be counted on, because a lot of them didn't play last year.
Sure, I think once they get past that initial year, it's completely different. Certainly our expectation level of them goes way up because now they've had a spring practice and an off season and a second training camp. And again, I said before I wanted to see if we'd be further along now than we were practice 15. I wanted this to be practice 16, not practice 1 of training camp. And I felt like it was, and I think probably that speaks to a lot of what you're asking about with those redshirt freshmen.
With as much time as Barnwell and Chaffee got last year, are they ahead of where you guys sometimes are after one full year in the program because of how much they played?
I think when you play, you're definitely ahead. I don't want to. I'm certainly not ready to make any judgments on where I think they will be. We've got a lot of work to do this month at every position, and especially in the secondary. But there's nothing you can do to replace experience. When you get an opportunity to go out there and play live football games against other teams, against talented quarterbacks like we did, there's no doubt it makes a difference when you come back.
Is that a competition that you want to get sorted out in the first couple of weeks of camp? You don't want them to go deep?
I'm sorry.
The cornerback.
The corners or quarter?
Corner.
I think the corners, it'll sort itself out through training camp. I don't know if it'll make a difference if we make that decision day 7 or day 12, because they're all going to play. And when we put third down in, a lot of times they're all going to be on the field at the same time. So they're all going to be working. It's a rotation position. I really think for us this year, probably the only one that I think we're going to have to settle here sooner than later will be the quarterback. And figure out, all right, who ultimately is going to be named starting quarterback, and then after that, who's ultimately going to be named the backup quarterback, because those two guys will get the bulk of the reps as we get deeper into training camp.
Kyle, getting closer, or moving back to the first team offense, how closely will you monitor some of those guys that missed most of spring?
Very closely. Yeah, very closely. We'll have a plan, an individual plan for every one of them, and make sure that as we go through training camp that we're taking care of their bodies just like they're taking care of their bodies, because when they're on the field, you can only go 1 speed. You only go one speed on that football field, so you can't do it when you're out there. You can only do it by limiting the reps now and again.
Got time for two more?
How does day one for you change from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 at all? Any difference?
I think every year you do it, you get a little bit more comfortable with it. But at the same time, I think every year you put training camp together and you put the schedules together, you really got to evaluate what you're doing to make sure that you're doing the best thing possible for your football team based on what that specific team needs. And we've talked a little bit already about the change in the schedule because we thought it would be better for the health of the football team, the recovery of the football team. But even the practice schedules themselves, we've got some talented freshmen in this class that we really want to see what they can do. So we took 10 plays after we sent the upperclassmen in to give them a chance to not just learn the offense, but really show the coaching staff what they can contribute.
Long is still kind of relatively young, but you talked about him as a leader. Just where is he coming into this game?
You're right. He doesn't seem young, but you're right. He is. He's only a redshirt sophomore, but he certainly doesn't carry himself like it, and he doesn't play like it. To me, he's a veteran and one of the leaders on this team. It's just nice that he's got a few more years left. Thank you, guys.